Welcome back to the Blurb Breakdown with Taylor and Megan, where we break down and dive into the book blurbs, the good, the bad, and the cringeworthy.
Fair warning, this podcast is rated R for mature content, strong language, and spicy discussions. If you're not ready for swoon-worthy scenes, steam, and unfiltered bookish opinions, proceed with caution. Otherwise, grab a drink and join us.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Megan. We are coming back with part 2 of Throne of Glass, chapters 26 through 55. We recommend that you go back and watch part 1 because there's a lot of information you don't want to miss going into part 2. We did end the first part of Throne of Glass with Celaena waking up with the Eye of Elena, and after she had her dream, and we're questioning what's going on. Why does she need the Eye of Elena? What does she need protecting from? Hopefully we find out in part 2. So stay tuned and get ready for the adventure.
That was the first half of the book. We found out that people are being mauled in the hallways of the castle, and it looks like big animal slashes, but we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's causing it. We don't know what beast is in the castle. So starting off with chapters 26 and 27, Xavier is found dead. His body is half eaten and his brain is gone. There are also word marks next to his body. Always have the word marks. That's why I'm like, something's happening. This is not just random attacks. It's
right.
We have the competitors, and there's word marks on each location.
And then at the tower, the clock tower.
Yes, they keep popping up in here.
I'm curious to find out what they mean. Because right now it's looking like they signify death.
Seriously.
That's kind of scary. Okay, so then we find out that Cain knows who Celaena is, that she's not Lillian, that she's the assassin. And that's not good for her. She's no longer safe. Because now he knows that she can kill him, that she's truly a threat. And Celaena, after seeing this half-eaten body of Xavier, is now diving deep into trying to find out what these word marks are. She's doing a ton of research. And in doing that, she finds out about the word gates and that they can be accessed and summoned by using the word mark.
Yeah, which they open up other realms and can let other creatures and beings through, which Celaena finds that out with a book called The Walking Dead, which I do kind of find funny.
Oh. We finding zombies here?
Right? It's okay.
So that would explain, how Elena was able to talk to her. And then what is that realm or that gate, that word gate, letting through to kill all these people?
Right. We have no idea. Okay, so Celaena does return to the tomb of Queen Elena because she's just trying to find some answers, but she doesn't find any new answers in the tomb.
Yeah, I would definitely go back too, because she's the one that's giving her all this insight on what is happening. Even though she's not giving
No, she's just giving her tasks about you need to win this, you need to do this, but no details, no context. Celaena has no information.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we dive into a conversation between Chaol and Dorian, because the previous night they both showed up at her door, at Celaena's door, and Chaol, he found Dorian and sent him away. But we don't really get any insight on too much what happened with Chaol either. But they're talking about why they showed up to the room. And in the same conversation, Chaol's questioning where the king is at while all this is going on in the castle. And Dorian has no idea where his dad is. He said he did this a lot when he was younger, but he didn't know where he went.
And so that kind of ended that conversation, and they kind of moved on. So then we kind of move back on to where Celaena is with Nehemia, and she questions her about the word marks again.
Mm-hmm.
And Nehemia states she doesn't know what they say, and that Celaena should quit trying to find out what they say because no good can come from that. So to me, I'm like, Nehemia's got to know something.
Yeah, that there tells me that she knows something for sure, that she knows exactly what they are. I mean, how
Right,
else
like,
would you know? You know, that they're
exactly.
bringing evil. Yeah. I feel like I understand Nehemia and why
Yeah.
she's saying, you know, quit looking into it. She doesn't know
Mm-mm.
Celaena all that well yet. We're still learning about each other. And, you know, if Nehemia has these secrets, of course she doesn't want
Yeah,
Celaena
and
to
she's
find out.
obviously doing her own digging. She's obviously there for a reason. I know we kind of talked and touched base about that on the
Mm-hmm.
first episode. So there's definitely something going on here. She's 100% there for a reason. I'm not 100% sure why, but she's there.
Yeah. I wonder if she's playing more into, like, if she's a part of what's going on. Because how ironic that she shows up for
Yeah.
training, I guess you could say, learning their ways, but all of a sudden all these people are dying and Nehemia seems to
Yeah.
know something.
And doesn't want her friend
So,
researching it. So,
yeah, definitely. Um, then moving into chapters 28 and 29, we have Dorian showing back up to Celaena's room, sneaky little man, to play billiards with her. And he tries her to show her how to play, which to me is like a typical like date thing. You stand behind the girl, you like show her how to shoot pool. That's what I got from that
yeah,
scene
I completely
anyway.
agree. And he tries to teach her and show her how, and a little flirtatious going on there.
What do you think he's trying to
It's
accomplish
hard to
here?
say. It's hard to say if Dorian's really catching feelings here, or is it because he can't get Celaena as fast as some of these other girls that are around that it's more of like a chase? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and he's trying to I agree. I think he likes her because she's somebody he can't have. I feel like that's a typical male
Yes.
thing. Um, to want what you can't have. And he realizes that he's sponsoring her in this challenge and these trials, and
Mm-mm.
he can't have her. And then he sees Kaol like trying
Yep.
to make his move, or so he thinks. You know, he's not really. He's just getting the bits and pieces of Kaol
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, don't go in her room." You know. So I think he's also competing with Kaol as
I
well.
agree.
And I'm curious to see what that does to their
Right.
friendship.
And then, there's always the little Caltaine coming in more determined than ever to be Dorian's bride. She's even got the Queen's seal of approval.
Yeah. Yeah. Caltain's a sneaky one. She ever since the beginning, like when she was first introduced, I
Mm-mm,
didn't
me neither.
care for her. She just I don't know, she had that mean girl mentality
Yeah.
and
Nope.
I just didn't
Not
like it.
not rooting for Caltaine
And
at
then
all.
heck no, heck no. We also find out through the grapevine that our next trial is going to be sparring each other.
Yes, this will be interesting.
Yes.
But before we get to the sparring, there's another body that is found dead with word marks near it and scratch marks all along the wall.
Yeah, definitely more bodies. They're dropping like flies, it seems like. This one was a bit
Yes.
different. So, they found the body, they found the word marks, and they found the scratch marks on the wall. And the way that the torches in the hallway were burned, um, It seems to be like the victim may have seen what was coming.
Yeah, like long before it got to him. Like the way the hallway lights were, it was a distance.
So upon further inspection of Varen's body, they seen that his fingernails were cracked and shattered, looking like he was trying to get away, like he was trying to claw.
Yeah, just by the fingertips, just being dragged by his fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is it's clear to them that the beast, or whatever it is that killed him, was sharpening his claws on the stone while the master was watching. So who is this master? Somebody's controlling them. That has to be it. If there's a master, somebody has control.
Yes. Who is it?
It could be, but I hope not, because I like Nehemia.
Right, me too. She seems very
maybe like Duke Parrington or
yeah, he's sketch. Maybe the king.
True.
Because where the hell is the king?
We said we didn't know where he was.
Where is he?
I guess we'll find out.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Going forward, Dorian and Celaena are spending some more time together, and she expresses to him, we're getting a little deeper into their relationship. She told him that she wanted to
I was
be
like,
a
that's so
healer.
sweet. Like, what we know of her is, the assassin, the more like the killer than the savior. So I just love that.
Yes.
We got to go a little bit deeper and know that she actually used to want to be a healer. She didn't want to be on the other side of those things.
Yeah, two very opposite ends of the spectrum there. I mean, we know though that assassin wasn't her choice.
Yep, pretty much.
It was either that or die. So, we can't blame her for. Nope.
And she was 8 years old, so.
Right, she was still a child. And then Celaena wakes up and she finds Queen Elena in her room. And she's got another message. She tells Celaena, you must win the competition and look to the right for answers.
Yeah. Like, what does that mean?
Right. I don't. When we originally read this, I was like, what does that mean? The right where?
To the right.
Why are we looking to the right?
Like, I don't know.
Right? Oh, man. So then moving on to the next trials, we have poisons, which if you remember from part 1, Arabin brought in poison masters to teach her.
Okay. During the poison trial, Celaena does have to get help from Paler to her right, just to make sure everything's all good. She needs a little refresher.
Yeah. Yes, because there was a poison in that trial, and to win, they had to drink whatever one they thought was not poisoned. And there was one of them looked like it should have been just plain wine, and turned out that there was a poison in it that was like odorless and couldn't see it, whatever. And that's how she essentially cheated off of Paler to get the correct answer for what she was supposed to drink.
You gotta win however you can.
That's really scary though, because she was seeing people drop to her left.
Yep.
As they were getting.
So she knew her. She needed to pay attention to her surroundings to make sure she got it right.
Yeah. And I think those two were the only two that passed that round, if I remember correctly.
No, I was like, I can't remember correctly, but I know some people made it through.
Yeah, we at least know those two. we're good.
All right, so moving on to chapters
Oh,
32 and
man.
33. I will say this is sort of one of my favorite moments just because I am a dog person. So I know you are too. So
Yes.
Nehemia takes Celaena to the
Yes.
kennels, and Dorian tells her that they plan to kill one of the puppies, but she begs him not to.
Yeah, so the puppy that he was going to kill was not good around other people or animals. And so he had to go because they needed to be able to have him be
Yeah,
okay
and he just
around
didn't have the
animals
extra
and
time
people.
to train. And I guess that's okay back then.
Yeah. Yeah, just take it out back and like what? Yeah, but Celaena, she begs him not to. And I can understand, she was a child when she did enter
Mm-hmm.
into this assassin situation. She never got to have that childhood where, like, maybe mommy and daddy got her a puppy when she was little or what have you. So I thought it was sweet. And, he agrees.
Yeah,
He's like,
I
okay, I
love
won't do
that. It was
it.
such a good, fun
So,
moment. This is where you're like, okay,
yes.
Dorian totally has feelings and is catching feelings for Celaena.
Yes. Yeah, because especially if they're breeding dogs, and this is something that he usually does for an animal
Mm-hmm.
that's not cooperative, that's definitely, yeah, she's hitting that soft spot he's got.
Yes.
She found it.
All right, we'll move.
Oh
Oh, go ahead.
man. So then
Sorry.
they're going back to the castle
Yes.
now after the kennels, and Celaena is, going back to her room, and she sees a shift in the reflection of the window, and she turns around and she finds Cain behind her. First of all, that would have stressed me out. I would have taken
Yes,
off
but the
running.
weird thing is that he was holding his own throat as if he was choking, as if, Celaena can only hope. But she also noticed she
Right?
also noticed that each time she sees Cain, he is bigger and bigger each time. He never answers her. He just keeps grabbing his throat, and then he takes off running down the hall extremely fast, like just randomly.
Hmm.
Yeah, but also like
Superhuman.
clutching his throat, like he's choking on something. So Celaena then sent a message to Nox and Paler that night to
So,
warn them to stay in their rooms and not to open the door for anyone. Because obviously something weird's going on.
yeah. And I'm curious if he
Mm-hmm.
was truly choking, why did he run
Mm-mm.
away? He's not asking for help. So that in itself is really odd. And then the fact that she's like, every time I see him, he's bigger than the
Right.
last
Yet they're all
time.
living in the same area.
Something is right. So she's seeing him every day.
Oh, for sure.
Something is going on. Oh man. We also find out that Caltaine has been smoking an opium pipe to help with the headaches she's been getting. So that's something else that I found weird is why does she keep getting these
Oh, that is a
headaches?
good question. We don't really get to hear the inside thoughts of Caltaine unless it's her it's not even her inside thoughts, it's her talking out loud about how much she wants Dorian.
Right, right. Yeah, that's weird. I wish we did get a little bit more insight on that throughout the story because with everything else weird going
Yeah, you're
on,
like, what is
you
going
want to
on?
know.
So then after all of
Oh my
that,
goodness.
Nehemia comes to Celaena and tells her that the king captured 500 Ilway rebels, including children, and killed them all. So that explains the
Oh
king's
man.
whereabouts.
Yeah, why what is going on because he already captured Ilway and dealt with this
Right,
a
so it sounds
while
like
ago.
there's like a rebel group that he's after, and they were found near the border of Oakwald Forest and the Stone Marshes. So it sounds like he is taking over.
Which looking for magic because that's the forest where the magic
Right.
supposedly
Is that where the
was.
border is maybe? I can't recall where our border is.
Yeah. let's check the map here really quick. So the border is okay. So Oakwald Forest and the Stone Marshes. So looks like it's like right here. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Okay.
Looks like it's like right here. And so that I just remember from the beginning of the book that is where they sat at the break going to Rifthold, where they stopped for the night, and they talked about the magic. So that makes me curious to know, what is he looking for?
Right.
Why is he killing these people? Does Eowyn still have magic?
Okay, maybe, because we know not everywhere. Like magic is not rid. Magic is not gone from everywhere. So where's it at? Where's our
Right.
lines?
Right. Oh goodness. So Celaena, after she hears from Nehemia about what the king did, she goes to talk to Dorian, and she tells Dorian what happened, and he tells her that he doesn't agree with the things that his father is doing. And I think that speaks volumes to him, that he's not agreeing with his father, because it shows that he's different.
He also tells her that she is beautiful and that there's going to be a masked ball at Yulmus, but she is not allowed to attend.
I love a masked ball.
I'm like, but you're the prince. Why can't she attend?
Right. I love a masked ball. I would love that so much. I went to a book event actually in Tennessee about a year and a half ago, and it was a masquerade. It was Masked Mayhem, and it sounds like
fun. Oh my gosh, I want to go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. It was a blast.
Yes. In talking, Dorian talking to Celaena, he noticed her amulet and told her that it looked like the Eye of Elena. But here's the kicker. The Eye of Elena was lost for centuries, and it's an amulet that a spirit gave Elena in battle against the Dark Lord.
Isn't that interesting?
So that's, yes.
So that makes me think it protects against darkness.
Mm-hmm. Which would explain why Elena gave it to her now, with all of this dark, evil crap going on in the castle. Oh man, that was interesting. I'm so glad he brought that up to her, and that we got that little tidbit of information. And it came from a spirit. So Elena currently is a spirit.
Yes.
So very interesting. Makes me wonder, and I don't know how far these books go. If something were to happen to Celaena, would she keep it until she found somebody who needed it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm just curious. First, what it does, and can she pass it down, and will she need to pass it down?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Going into her room that night, she finds word marks drawn on the floor under her bed. And she takes the liberty of washing them away. She's like, heck no, you're not putting a hex on me. Get out of here.
Well, yeah, everybody found dead had word marks, symbols near them. So it's like, is that a calling?
Right. Oh my goodness.
Right, me too.
And I don't know that it told us, but I don't know if they were the same word marks that were found with the bodies or something different.
Yes.
But we also know that word marks symbolize a word gate, which can allow people to come through. So are they marking that could as be the portal area?
Like next target?
Ooh. Yeah.
So So after that, after that, Celaena goes to find Nehemia in the library. Nehemia leaves and drops a piece of paper. Celaena opens the paper and finds that Nehemia has been writing down word marks. And so Celaena is assuming that Nehemia has deceived her, because the last time Celaena asked Nehemia about the word marks. She said she didn't know and to stop researching it.
Yeah. So why is she writing them down? So that
Right.
she's either doing her own research or, like we suspected,
Yeah,
she knows exactly what they
exactly.
are. And why? What are they? Like, what is she writing them down for? Is she writing down what she's seeing on these dead bodies, trying to figure out
Right.
what they mean? I don't know. I would feel very
Yeah,
deceived
no, I completely
as
agree.
well. And that makes me sad for Celaena because I know she feels alone in the castle. And Nehemia was somebody
Yeah,
that she
I
felt
agree.
she
And
could
so that really,
trust.
really sucks. And I'm hoping there's no ill will. I hope she's just doing her own research and just doesn't want Celaena involved.
Yeah, me
But
too.
we'll definitely see.
Mm-hmm. We only have 6 champions left. In reading, they don't give us too many more details, but we do find out that there were 3 other competitors that were found dead in forgotten hallways, and they were all mutilated beyond recognition.
There's some beasts going around, and they're attacking all the champions.
Yes.
I know, right?
Man, I hope we find out why.
Oh my gosh,
and I hope we don't lose our girl, okay?
All right, that's taking us into chapters 36 through 39. So we do have quite a bit going on within these chapters. Yep. And a lot of this is going to be like Celaena is spending a lot of her free time researching the word marks and more trying to figure out what it all means and how it is connected to the killer and the killer's beast, because she now knows obviously there's a master and there's a beast.
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely trying her hardest to figure out what's going on. And I don't know about you, but I probably would have given up at this point, because just let me lay myself down and come get me, because she has got to be scared out of her freaking
Yes, but I mean,
mind.
look how much she's gone through. So
yeah, true.
She's just doing her best to figure out what the heck's going on and trying to survive.
She at least knows she's on the list, because the other competitors are just dropping.
Oh, yeah, for sure. She's got to know it's coming after her.
Yes. So we are coming into Yulmus. We're getting ready for the ball, presents, whatnot. Dorian shows up with the most perfect gift for Celaena, and he gifts her that puppy that he promised not to kill.
Yep. Oh, I was like, so. All right, so Celaena thinks that Nehemia is behind the deaths and the killings, so she decides to go to the ball and keep an eye on her, assuming that Nehemia is going to punish Otterlin for killing her people. That's okay. That's okay.
Yep, I missed that one.
I was like, wait, okay. Yep. I was going to say, so assuming that Nehemia was going to punish Otterlin for killing her people.
Yeah, which I don't entirely blame her, but we're also sitting here like, right. Are you against us?
Because there's a lot of killings going on, and obviously Celaena has found that Nehemia is lying about the word marks, and the word marks are very much tied to the killings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Celaena, with the help of Philippa, gets her mask and this beautiful dress, and she goes to the ball. And I don't think anybody else knows who she is.
Oh, yeah.
Dorian and Cael obviously
they
know who
both
she
instantly knew the second she walked in.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. That's because they're hot for her.
For sure.
And Celaena ends up dancing with Dorian, which I thought was so sweet.
Yeah, and Miss Caltaine sits very unhappy.
Of course, she knows that she is trying to get closer to him, or she knows that Celaena is trying to get closer to Dorian, and Caltaine wants no part of it. She wants Celaena to be eliminated one way or another from this competition.
Yeah, does not care how just goodbye Dorian's mine.
I could just see her standing like Bridgerton style around the outside of the ball, like the dance floor,
Right.
and just grilling her because she's dancing
Yes.
with
Full on
Dorian.
glaring. Ugh, all of it.
Oh, mm-mm. Dorian then, after the ball, Dorian walks Celaena back to her room, and before he leaves, they have a cute little you'll
Mm-hmm.
miss
I was like,
kiss.
yay!
Yeah, of course you were. You're Team Dorian. I'm Team Kale. Oh, goodness.
All
Goodness,
right. Well, that
goodness.
leads us into chapter 40, and Puppy gets a name. So we give the puppy the name
Yay.
Fleetfoot.
Yes.
I know.
It
Like,
was
if
so
I were to name my
cute.
pet that, I would probably be like, okay, what kind of name is that? But it just worked. It worked in the story. It's
It is.
adorable. You will love it. Fleetfoot's great.
Yeah. Yes. I loved it. We also get some insight into Duke Parrington and Caltain's conversation where he tells her
Mm-hmm.
who Celaena really is. And of course, he knows because Cain finds out. Cain is Duke Parrington is Cain's
Yes.
sponsor. So, of course, he found out. So, no more alias
Nope.
for Celaena. Um, and then in the same conversation, Duke Parrington is telling Caltain that they need to slip something into her goblet. So they are going to poison her coming into
Yeah, so
this
the whole
next
goal is to
trial.
make Cain the winner, and basically they want to kill Celaena with whatever they plan to have Caltain put in her drink. This is coming from the king stating to do
Yes.
whatever needs to be done to ensure that Cain wins the duel. Why is King only wanting Cain to win?
Yeah, we know that from part 1 that he wasn't thrilled about his son bringing in
Yeah.
a girl anyway into the
Mm-mm.
into the competition. So, of course, we know that Caltain wants Dorian, and Duke Parrington is Cain's sponsor. So, they're both trying to eliminate Celaena. So, it really makes me wonder, did that command come from the king truly? Or is it just Duke Parrington and Caltain just trying to
See, I
eliminate
think
the
we've had
competition?
a lot of conversations that Duke Parrington has had with the king that I think they might be in
Mm-hmm.
cahoots. Like, I think Duke Parrington is working with the king, doing some of his bidding, and they've got this whole
Yeah.
ordeal and scheme happening.
Yeah. You might be
I
onto
mean,
something.
it's got to be because they have a lot of conversations in hush hush, and the queen also is like all about Caltain. So there's this little circle
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Little clique that doesn't want
No, they want her
Celaena
gone.
involved at all. Oh man. So after that, moving into chapter 41, Celaena is still doing research and she finds the word marks that were near the bodies. And in her research, it says that they are sacrifices to the Ritterak. And it summons the creature who eats the sacrifice and grants the summoner the victim's strength. So by eating these people, whatever it is getting stronger and stronger with each person.
Celaena goes back down the passage, assuming it is Nehemia, but she finds Cain instead, which I find funny. I find funny because she said Cain is growing bigger and bigger, and then this says that when they eat the victims,
Oh,
they get the victim's strength. Do you think that has anything to do with Cain?
yes. Yes. And I did not put those two together until
Yes, and so
just
I'm
now.
like, and then so she just found
Oh,
Cain, and then or a darkness that was so black that it seemed like it was poised to devour the world.
that makes me wonder if that darkness is like a word gate a portal for something to come through. Because
Right.
it says it's so black, which is what I
No,
think
yeah,
of when
that
I
makes
think of
total
portal.
sense. And if he is the one summoning these things, that would make sense to me. So
Mm-hmm.
that leads us into chapters 42 and 43, where Celaena sees that Cain is summoning the Riteract, and the Riteract is described as something out of ancient gods' nightmares. Its hairless gray skin was stretched tightly across its misshapen head, displaying a gaping mouth filled with black fangs.
Oh, wow. That is literally what dreams are made of. Nightmares. Not dreams. What nightmares are made of.
Definitely nightmares if you are dreaming like that, girl. Maybe read some romance books in between. Because you need some
Yeah,
lightheartedness in your
definitely.
life.
Oh my goodness. For real. Celaena gets to witness. I say gets to freely because, it's not like she wants to be there. She witnesses the Ritterak bowing in front of Cain as if an act of submission.
Yeah.
That is so, so weird. So that right there makes me think that
Oh,
Cain is
very
the
much so.
master.
Cain locks her in with it, and it intends to kill her. Like 100%, the Riteract is running at her, and she runs towards him as well. I mean, that's our assassin. That is our badass girl.
She's going.
Yes. So she jumps over
Yep.
him with the Riteract and collides with the wooden door.
Oh no. Her amulet then starts to pulse. It's saying, danger, 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 out. Get out of here, which is what it's intended to do. It's for protection. So it's in a way protecting her because it's telling her, hey, you got to go. So Celaena somehow, some way manages to escape where the Ritterak is at, and she runs as fast as she can toward Elena's tomb. Celaena enters the tomb where Elena is with King Gavin, and she takes King Gavin's sword, Damaris, and she kills the Ritterak. She grabs the sword just in time before the Ritterak comes in. She swings the sword and collides with him. It catches her, though. So she ends up, as she's stabbing him, with one of his black teeth in her arm.
Ah.
I would have been
Oh, yeah.
freaking out. And then, like the badass she is, she gets her arm out of his tooth.
Yes.
Or his tooth out of her arm. She wipes the sword off and puts it back. Like, thanks, King Gavin. You did your due diligence.
Yes. So, after all of this, Nehemia finds Celaena after this encounter, and then Celaena tells her that she is Celaena, not Lillian.
I find it funny that Nehemia was so close to her, and she's like
Yeah,
the last one to
I
find
completely agree. I'm actually kind of shocked by it because, like, they supposedly have been really close, but Nehemia hasn't shared very many secrets, and Celaena is also not very open with her secrets. So,
Right, she's
yeah, so
trying
it
to
does
hide who
not
she is
necessarily
right now.
shock me that she has not told her before. But I'm really happy that she finally came clean now.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. And then Nehemia really becomes the caregiver that Celaena needs after this encounter with the Ritterak, because Celena's body starts to get very, very hot. And Nehemia takes her and puts her in the bath in the cool water and stays with her until she's back to feeling like herself. While she's in the bath, she looks down at her arm and she realizes that where the Ritterak stuck its tooth into her is now covered in glowing turquoise marks. And they both realize that they are wyrdmarks.
Yes.
That is so important, because what does that mean for Celaena?
I don't know, but this is when Nehemia gives Celaena another name. Alentia. I was like, that is so beautiful. I mean, all these names are so beautiful. I can't pick.
It is. I love that. And I love that Nehemia shares that connection with her, that she felt she could do that.
Yes, and now Celaena knows that Nehemia has nothing to do with Cain and the Ritter Act. So she's good. Like they're back on good terms here.
Yep. Thankfully they are, because now the king is back after taking out 500 of Nehemia's people.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what's going to happen between the two of them, with Nehemia and
yeah, I agree.
the king. Oh goodness. Moving through the next couple chapters, they're filler chapters. So Celaena warns Nox that he should leave the castle. Celaena and Dorian share another kiss. We also find out in those next few chapters that the last test was canceled, and Celaena is told that she will have to duel somebody the next day. But we only have 5 contestants left. Or 4, I'm so sorry. We have her, Grave, Renault, and Cain that are left.
Yes. So in chapters 47 and 48, Cain and Renault duel, and Cain wins. Figures. And then Chaol offers Celaena his sword to duel Cain with. But then Nehemia offers an iron-tipped staff, saying, let it be an ill-way weapon you take them down with. I was like, yes, girl, yes.
Yes. And Celaena is all for it. She's like, you know what? I got you. You've been here with me. What they did to your people was wrong. And let's take them down with this ill-way weapon. Okay. So, of course, Celaena picks the staff, and she is set to duel Grave first, and she wins within 2 minutes.
And is then offered wine, the wine that Caltaine poisoned with the blood bane.
Which we saw this coming. Obviously, Celaena doesn't know, but we saw this coming. So she drinks the wine, of course, because it's offered to everybody, except we know Celaena's is special. It makes her weak and disoriented, and it gives Cain an advantage. While Cain is dueling Elena, he's basically taunting her, and it made me really mad because he dug deep into her, asking things like, oh, how was it waking up between your dead parents covered in their blood?
He went so low.
Yeah, he was definitely getting into her skin and doing whatever he could. I'm sure they told him that she was poisoned. So, like, he didn't have to do that.
No, he just thought it was funny. And I completely agree. I was getting so mad for her. And I was like, come on, girl, get it. But they freaking poisoned her.
Yeah. Yeah. He ends up, like, taking the lead, essentially, in the duel. As Celaena lays defeated on the ground. Chaol is, of course, rooting for her, yelling at her, get up, get up, get up, and she can't.
Yep, and then she starts seeing creatures around her, and she knows she's not hallucinating. She knows they're not hallucinations, but, like, there's nothing she can do right now.
Yeah. That's scary when you don't have control over your body. Like, that's a scary feeling. Like, I've had sleep paralysis, and I imagine that this is exactly what this is like. And it's
I believe it, because that actually leads us into chapters 49 and 50, where Celaena is being attacked by these creatures, but nobody else can see them. But luckily,
yeah, so nobody can help her. Nobody knows what's going on. They just think she's laying there.
Yeah, there's nothing that anyone else can do, except for Elena sweeps in to save her, gets rid of the creatures, and takes the poison from her body. which then in turn allows Celaena to beat Cain in the duel.
Yeah, I think he like stumbled for a second and she stabbed him with the staff and was able to take
all
him
because
down.
Celaena came and got that poison out of her that helped give her enough strength to do that.
So it's not just the amulet that's helping her. Elena is actually like her guardian angel, essentially. Oh. So Cain stumbles a little bit, which allows Celaena to stab him and essentially win the duel. Of course, the king is pissed. Cain was supposed to win. In everything leading up to this, in his doings with Duke Parrington, in the conversations Duke Parrington had with Celaena, Celaena was supposed to be killed and Cain was supposed to win. So of course the king is pissed.
And not only that, everybody notices that Celaena now has a word mark on her forehead that appeared while she was dueling.
More. So she got it from dealing with the Ridderak, got one on her arm from dealing with the Ridderak, and now she's got one on her forehead after dealing with Cain. So those line up. Is it when she fights this evil being, she's being marked? That's what it seems like.
So then Nehemia is super pleased that Celaena won. But then she collapses. And so when Celaena tries to go for her, her legs give out. And yes. So and then as if released from a spell, Dorian runs to her because he was in this whole time during the duel, he was just standing there stunned.
Yeah. So what was holding him back?
My assumption would be his princely duties and not taking the extra step to go above and beyond for her and basically choosing his duty.
Mm-hmm. You know who didn't choose their duty? Kale. Because Cain goes for Celaena after losing, and Kale kills him right then and there on the dueling field, takes him out. And Cain is the first, even though Kale is the captain of the guard, this is the first man that Kale has ever killed, because remember, he's only 22 years old.
Yes.
So he's still young.
Yes. So, I mean, Kale does end up taking this really hard, and we'll get to watch that through his journey on. But Parrington then throws Celaena under the bus and tells the king that she drugged the assassin. So what is Duke up to? So it's
why did that make me... Yeah, what is he up to?
Well, and Celaena knows, like, she was asked by Duke, but Duke is like, oh, it wasn't me. It was all her.
What's funny is that these two are supposed to be married. Like, they're promised to each other. And he just threw his bride under the bus.
Right? I know.
So after the Duke throws Celaena under the bus, Dorian talks to his dad, the king, saying that it would be easier to win over Nehemia because she loves her people, which are, in his father's eyes, the rebels, than allow Parrington to continue with his plans and ignite a full-on rebellion in Eelway. The king thinks about it, and he agrees with his son and says that he will order Parrington to stop his planning. Do you believe that?
Just no, I don't.
No, me
I think
either.
he just said that to satisfy and get Dorian off his back, but in reality, I don't think the king has any plans on telling Duke to stop, because I think he's part of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you for sure.
Yeah. So when we get to a scene with Nehemia and Celaena, Nehemia actually reveals to Celaena that what she saw in the duel was real and that she could see it too. Nehemia says Magic calls to magic. What does that mean for Celaena in the future books?
Yeah, I loved that phrase that she said to her, the magic calls to magic. And seeing as how Nehemia could also see the creatures, I don't know.
Yeah,
Do
no,
they both have
I'm not
magic in
sure.
them? Like, because that's what I'm thinking. Just in that phrase that Nehemia said, magic calls to magic. Obviously, these creatures were magic. But if they were coming for Celaena, is she magic? Is Nehemia magic?
Right? But
Oh my
then, and
goodness.
then lo and behold, Nehemia
Oh,
admits to knowing all about the wyrdmarks and
of
how to
course.
use them. She stated that they are kept secret because of the terrible power they wield.
Which would explain why she told Celaena
Yeah, that makes
stop
me think
looking
she's just
into it.
worried about her.
Because if you don't know what they are and you don't know how to use them and you try and somehow succeed in making them work, what's going to happen when
Right?
they're
And this
active, you
part,
know?
okay, this part cracked me up because we learned that the wyrdmarks that Celaena kept washing away from under her bed were actually drawn there by Nehemia for protection, not drawn by the master to draw in the bad. It was to help keep the bad away.
That cracked me up because Nehemia complained about it. She's like, I kept having to redraw them under your bed because you're wiping them away.
Well, it's like,
oh man, I remember laughing
oh,
after Nehemia complains to Celaena about having to redraw the wyrdmarks to protect her. We find out that Nehemia was the one that opened the portal to the realm that Elena was in, and that is how she was able to help Celaena in the duel.
yes.
So Nehemia is on the ends with Queen
Yeah, so she
Elena.
obviously knows a lot more than Celaena knows. A lot more than we know. So really hoping that in the next book we get some more answers, because this is like we're coming up here on the last few chapters and we're like, you're gonna leave us hanging.
Yeah, they do. They do. So the rest of the book, we're just going to summarize for you guys. But basically, Celaena sees Duke Parrington and the king talking, and there's talk of the Duke using the power on Lady Caltaine. And we realize that the king knew what Cain was doing the entire time, and that the king is using these powers that the Duke talks of. Celaena also tells Dorian, breaks his heart, and tells him that they cannot be together. So, Celaena's very last night, that's written about in the book, she dreams of the tomb again, and Elena appears, and Celaena thanks her for saving her life. And Elena responds saying, blood ties can't be broken, which is so important.
But what does it mean?
I don't
I'm
know.
like, what blood ties?
Because I've read the next two books, Taylor, and I don't remember. Do you remember?
Not the exact tie-in, no. I don't even know that we get the exact tie-in within the next two.
Okay. And then Celaena signs her contract with the king that she will be his champion for the next 4 years, and then she will be set.
Yes, and that's the end of book 1.
That is the end of book 1. Throne of Glass. And in case you guys don't remember, we are going to be reading Assassin's Blade, 4th in this series. Sarah J. Maas is the one that recommends to read it that way. So that's what we're going to be doing. Which is a lot of background. So we'll be getting a lot of information about Celaena in that book as well.
Okay, and the next book in the Throne of Glass series we're going to be covering is Crown of Midnight.
Yes. We hope you guys tune in and listen to that. It will be airing next week, for the next 2 weeks, actually. So just stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We really appreciate you listening. I know this was a long episode, but we're super grateful to have you guys as listeners.
Thanks for joining us on the Blurb Breakdown.